last year was pretty weird with everything going on, and it was basically a free year for everyone eligibility wise. But the 4-game redshirt rule this year, I was wondering what your philosophy is with that for freshmen. Do you like to save it for late in the year in case there's injuries, or do you put them in when you can, or what's your philosophy with that rule?
Well, I think you have to play them whenever you can. Twofold. One, you may not get an opportunity later on in the year. And I mean, if you get an opportunity early in the year, And then the other thing is when you play them early, you'll know more about if you should redshirt them or if you shouldn't, and I understand you learn all those things at practice too, but some guys just show up better. Some guys show up worse when the lights are on, so I like to play them as early as possible if you ever get that opportunity, and then see if they can see how they look out there, and then decide a little bit later on about the red shirt.
And the only other thing I got for you, Coach, is I was wondering what Hayden Henry's status was for Saturday. Do you think he'll be ready to go on Saturday?
Oh, he'll be ready to go without any question. He's fine. He's just a little sick this week, but he's fine. Thank you.
All right, let me know if you've got questions in the chat or raise your hand. Jacob?
I was just curious how you guys are feeling COVID-wise headed into the year, especially after the SEC's announcement yesterday about the forfeiting if you can't play. And has your guys' vaccination number changed at all since the last time you updated us?
Well, totally vaccinated has not. In the process of being vaccinated has. We're right at 93% now, 100% of our staff. But of that 93%, some, still have a few days before they are considered totally vaccinated. But, to be honest with you, we had about 70 when we got back in this summer. And basically, we talked to them about what the SEC, we knew way before yesterday that we felt like that was what's going to happen. You just forfeit. And so all I did was just mention it to the kids. And of course, they have to decide whether they're going to do it or not. But I mentioned it to the kids, and about 3 or 4 days later, we had 30 more that had been vaccinated, started the vaccination process.
Trey Biddy?
Hey, Coach. We've asked you just about everything I can think of, but I was wondering if you've done anything maybe outside the box this year that you maybe haven't done in the past. I don't know, have all the guys drinking beet juice or I don't know, doing yoga, something that's maybe different that you haven't tried.
We hadn't, Trey. And I ask you questions too, because I want to make sure you're in good enough shape to do the walk and talk afterwards. But anyway, the only thing that we did different is that we did a combo period that I spoke about earlier, where we basically said, what's our worst nightmare could happen to us? And we're going to go out there and play as a team together. And it might have been one guy off the field. It might have been 4, whatever the situation may have been, where let's say Malik Hornsby played with the ones in that period every single time. So the guys get used to them. I thought that was a good idea. I think it will help us in games where the guys in there and guys aren't looking around and saying, hey, who's this guy? Or they're saying, hey, here comes our guy, and we know he can do it. So we did that. I thought it was good.
And I don't know, this kind of question, it feels like it's appropriate to ask, but is there any big surprises, like one single surprise that you could, whether it's a player or something about the team in general, that you can pinpoint to it's been, the biggest of camp and of the preseason for you?
Your eyes can deceive you at times, and your opinion can deceive you if you don't have facts that back it up. And I was concerned about Malik Hornsby's accuracy. And I'm not for sure if every one of you guys on this that have seen our practice are going, where's his accuracy going to be? And I was concerned at some point about Juan's accuracy, KJ's accuracy as well. But then every night I watch tape, I watch every bit of everything, walk through everything, take a note about it. The coaches hate it whenever I come down with a bunch of notes. But as I'm doing that, the accuracy of Malik and the accuracy of KJ were quite higher throwing the football than what I believed. And so that would be probably the biggest surprise. I had an opinion about it. And then as I'm tallying up targets, it was much, much higher than what I thought it was.
Thanks, Coach.
Tom?
See, I'm looking at the depth in your defensive backfield. I'm wondering how deep you feel comfortable playing guys on Saturday, and guys like Malik Chavis or second team. If this may be as deep a secondary as you've had.
I'm very comfortable with the two deep. I'm very comfortable. And then you have some threes in there that certainly have played some ball, and like a Jaden Johnson, I'm ready to see him play. But I'm very comfortable with our two deep in the secondary.
Yeah, and you feel good about Catalon and Slusher being ready?
Well, I don't feel good about Slusher being ready, but I feel Catalon's 100%.
All right. And earlier on, you said something about when the lights come on, some certain guys do well and all. And I wonder if KJ has kind of fallen into that category for you.
He certainly had for me, especially coming out of last spring. And then he went in and had a really good spring game. Not so much anymore. I think he'll be a better player on a Saturday than what he is at practice, but he's also a very fine practice player now with his accuracy. And I don't know that I could tell you I believe that throughout spring ball. I knew he was getting better, but he's a good football player. But I do think he'll shine a little bit more on Saturdays. I think that's you're right. I think he's one of those guys.
Nate?
Yes, Sam, just with the heat that's projected Saturday, how comfortable are you if you have to expand the rotation in the defensive line and maybe even the offensive line?
Very comfortable. We've rotated, tackles. We've rotated guards. We know who our backup center is. We know who our third center is on offensive line. And on defense, that's been almost a regular for us, to be honest with you. It's been, we feel like we have 8 guys that we're going to play, and we're going to play them pretty consistently. So, obviously we have, you have third down packages and things like that with your D line to get off the field and, your best pass rushers and all that, like everybody else does. But regular down and distance, I feel really comfortable with 8 guys with Ridgeway out. If he's not able to play, I feel like, that could be 9 if he's able to play. That I'm doubtful that he will, though.
So it's the same with receivers, especially if Burks can't play.
I do. I feel better about our receivers, and I think a bunch of that is the young guys. I feel really confident in Keytron Jackson, really confident. I think he's going to be fine. So I think some of that's with guys that we haven't seen. We haven't seen Jaquaden Crawford either, so it doesn't necessarily have to be young, just some guys we haven't seen haven't seen a whole lot out of Tyson Morris either, but he certainly has earned that right to be a starter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scotty?
Hey, Coach, I'm curious what you see from KJ personality-wise behind the scenes. His teammates this preseason have said he's really funny in the locker room, but he can flip a switch and be really businesslike when he needs to be. He
can. I mean, I think maybe I'm like that a little bit too, but KJ is showing better leadership skills and all those things will come around. It's hard to be a leader when you've never started a game. I mean, it really is. And we're pushing him towards that and all those things. And he's become better. I think he'll get better and better as the year goes once he gets a little bit more confidence.
Just last thing for me, how do you feel about your tight ends room, as of right now?
Well, that obviously I think everybody understands that's been a concern of ours. I went back and watched Aaron Outley's tape. Obviously, he had the ACL last year. I watched his high school tape, and we'd have took him 10 out of 10 again. It's just unfortunate. But he's getting better shape, and those things, they'll release him, be able to practice. He'll go down to scout team and help us. But and of course, Landon Rogers, a guy I think can help us there too. He's light right now, but he's a willing blocker, and he's, a very capable athlete. Then you look at the top three guys we have in backs, and Hudson and Henry and Kern. I don't know if I said Kern first, but Kern, Hudson, and backs. And, I think they all played last year, so they're better now. And Kern's been a little dinged up, but I think he'll be 100% by Saturday.
All right, let me know if you've got more questions. Bob?
Yeah, Sam, I've always been lousy at math, so I just wanted to make sure I got the vaccine info right. So like 93% of the guys are totally vaccinated, and then there's a handful that have or are getting ready to get the first shot, or what?
No, we're at 90. We're a little over 90%. I think it's like 91 fully vaccinated. And then we have another 3 that are in the process right now that have had their first shot or their last shot, depending on if it was J&J or Pfizer. So when their timetable comes up, we'll be at 93.
You think it's realistic to get to 100%, or there's always going to be a couple holdouts?
Well, it's up to the kids, Certainly, we're trying to educate it at all times, but there are some teams that say they're 100% out there. So obviously it can be done. But for us, I don't know. I'm proud that I'm proud that we're at 93 have at least started. 93% have at least started that, and if we get more, that'd be awesome too.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
All right, last call for questions. Go ahead, Hutch.
Yeah, Sam, I know Keytron and Rocket, and you mentioned Jaden Johnson. You're ready to see him play, but I was wondering if there are any other freshmen that jump out to you that you expect to see them make their debuts this weekend.
Let's see. Poo-Paul may play some. In the secondary, we talked about Jaden. Wide receiver, Keytron Jackson. Maybe Bryce Stevens. On the O-line, we're probably not quite there yet, but they're good players. And of course, you have AJ Green. AJ's looked better in practice. Rocket. Those are 2 freshmen, and I believe that's probably it.
It's that time of the year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all of the pro and college football action this season. Get all of the updated odds, props, and contests, including the online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest, the world's largest 200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Here's what you have to do. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus. Take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager's going to be refunded for up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using the promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.